Well, there are two that I'd like to mention. The first is the differentiation between investor-state arbitration and commercial arbitration. The debate about investor-state arbitration has, if you will, infected the debate about international commercial arbitration and affected arguments about legitimacy. And as the process of reform of investor-state arbitration moves forward to some form of conclusion, it's going to be interesting to see whether that effect from investor-state arbitration on commercial arbitration continues. So that, I think, from the perspective particularly of commercial arbitration, is a very important aspect of the future of international commercial arbitration. Secondly, and perhaps looking in terms of regional development, I'm particularly interested, arbitrating as I do in quite a number of different jurisdictions around the world, at the growing effect of the movement of trade in the world from what has previously been perhaps you could call it a Eurocentric basis of trade to the new world of Asia, described broadly. From that has developed, of course, a significant increase in the number of arbitrations being heard in the Asian region, dealing with disputes concerning parties from that region. And the impact of that on the traditional European centres of arbitration is of particular interest to me. We're speaking during London International Disputes Week, where London is considering whether its leading place in the world of international arbitration is going to continue. And I think that's a very relevant topic for London, because there is some very significant amount of effort being put into the development of regional arbitration in Asia, very effectively done in a range of centres from Korea to Hong Kong to Singapore to Australia, and of course a huge development of both domestic and international arbitration in India. And that is a trend that is obviously of interest to a nomadic arbitrator such as myself, and of interest, I think, to practitioners who would tend, usually but not always, to be geographically based. So will London practitioners continue to get the work they expect, or will they have to move, is a question that arises when you think about those issues. Well, I think an outstanding contributor to the debate in international arbitration is the Singapore Chief Justice, Sundaresh Menon, who speaks thoughtfully and without any regard perhaps for a future career in international arbitration, which some judges would tend to flavour their comments about. He has contributed very significantly, I think, to learning in international arbitration, both investor-state and commercial, and is an excellent, thoughtful speaker. Then there are, of course, the entertaining speakers, such as Peter Goldsmith, who today I thought was just superb at GAR Live in London. I think the biggest challenge, and here I'm speaking about particularly commercial international arbitration, is the capacity for the development of procedures that are flexible. Arbitration, by definition, is supposed to be flexible, and it's supposed to be able to be fashioned to suit the dispute in question. Sadly, however, as with most things lawyers do, it's become too formulaic. In other words, there are ways of devising arbitration procedures which are followed without necessarily thinking about whether the procedure suits the particular dispute. And I think one of the big challenges we face is enlivening the imagination of arbitrators and lawyers as to how to devise ways of developing procedures that are relevant to a particular dispute. The debate is live at the moment with the publication and debate about the Prague Rules, which is a bit of a fight back from civil law lawyers against the common law approach to arbitral procedure. And I think we see in the Prague Rules something which has always been there, and that is a menu of a whole range of different ways of approaching the setting of a procedure for an arbitration. And that, I think, is the challenge, because users, as well as wanting predictability, want to know that their dispute is going to be able to be tailored procedurally to a method of resolution which is efficient, fair, and economical. Audience participation, of which there has been very little in these London proceedings, and so far very little in GAR Live to date.